Hi guys, welcome back to another video. It's been a bumper busy week on the farm this week, so there's lots in store for this video. And I've been doing a lot of thinking this week as well. I've been kind of reviewing the season so far and putting some of my thoughts out there on that, so check that out. And I'm also trying to wonder where I'm going with this channel and what I'm doing. So if you're finding it relevant or useful, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll kind of assess what kind of appetites out there for more and more content, because it is very time consuming for me. So I enjoy it, but it takes up a lot of time. So let's get into the video. We are moving to farm 2. Dad's driving the Jeep here. We've got the cows up front. Say hi guys. Here's Birdie Boy. Goats and sheep over in the back there. And we're just backing up. We've got to back up the lane here into farm 2. So I'm just making sure I'm not doing a good job, but I have to make sure that the brakes are taken off the Jeep, off the trailer. So if you try to push it backwards with the brakes on, naturally it's going to want to brake. Trailers this big have all the axles brake, so it's worked off weight. When the trailer pushes forward, the brakes clamp on, and obviously then if you want to go backwards you need to lock that off. Yeah, it's still locked. I'm still doing my job. Recovery in farm 2, we've just been up earlier setting up the water. It's really good. So we're going to be about 3 weeks going around this farm. Our recovery period is down to we're down at 42 days at the minute, and we're probably going to come down to about 35 days in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be kind of our fastest around the farm, is about 35 days. That's us going pretty fast. You can see we're just in farm 2. This is the last paddock we grazed before we left. It's a little garden, a little triangular area in here. It's got a lot of heavy rushes. And I only had it for a half a day. I really should have stayed in there longer, but Dad was coming to take them away. Getting them here and getting them out really depends on if Dad's available or it's handy for him to come up and move them. So there's a little bit of lean, so maybe I might try and hit this extra hard this time around. Okay, I better get off the phone here and get ready to let these guys out. I'm just giving the van a little oil change here. I'm going to do fuel filter, oil filter. I've just got the oil dripping out there right now. Just got the oil dripping out into a pan, and we'll get the oil filter changed, which is in here. She's actually due this like 5,000 miles ago, so I'm sorry little engine. I'm only getting around to it now, but I like to keep the van pretty well serviced. So yeah, I've actually got to put in a new air filter too, which goes in there. So we'll give her all the filters changed, some new oil, and that'll keep her happy for another while. Having many skills is a great benefit from the point of view that labour is generally the cost, 50% of the cost of anything you do. Let it be getting steel work done, getting a mechanic, getting an electrician, getting an accountant. It's all 50% of what you're paying is at least labour. So by me being competent in many different skills, I save myself that 50%. Or it basically means if I've got, you know, €1,000, I can make it, stretch it to the equivalent of €2,000 by doing the work myself. Now when I was a lot younger, I spent a lot of time with different tradesmen, learning from tradesmen. So that's kind of how I learned all this stuff. I didn't just pick it up or go at it without knowing. I learned from some very competent and skilled craftsmen in various different aspects. So that's kind of where I learned my knowledge over the years. So I was just discussing the game plan with Tommy there, digger driver, and what we're doing here is we've got eventually in mind to put up 2 more tunnels. So move my little tunnel here and put up another bigger tunnel there. That's the plan. If it happens or not, it's a different story. It's just with the price of everything, and I need to really figure, do I need the big tunnel? I'll definitely move the little tunnel, but we want to just make one level slope that can hold the 2 of them. So the big tunnel will be the same width as this, so it's 9 meters, and the small tunnel is 4 meters, and I need maybe a meter, you know, half a meter at least between them to put in a French ditch. So I'm looking at somewhere between 14 and 15 meters. So we're going to make a level pad here, and so that means it's actually going to be a little bit lower than the level of this polytunnel, just to try and get enough material. It's low down here, so we've got to fill up this. So we're going to take down this side, scrape all that back till we get a level pad here, and yeah, that's basically it. You can see we've got the laser level up way over there, so Tommy was just figuring out roughly. He's been at this a long time, so he's a fair idea by checking the levels what'll be about the average, and he thinks maybe we'll go about a foot lower here, and that'll give us enough material to fill up there and be level on that side. And then that's hopefully, because this is quite a bit lower, you can see down here, so we'll fill this up and use that material up. Moving earth is just about moving material around to try and find where it's best and level. This is mostly clay, and there's some good compost from my garden in there, but I was going to maybe go and scrape it all off the top, but there was so much grass growing in it that it just wasn't worthwhile. I had some no-dig beds in here, and they worked really well until one big problem that I never done was put up any windbreak. And what happened, I better get out of the way. What happened was, with no windbreak, when the grass was in seed, grass seed was just flying in, and I wasn't on top. I wasn't weeding at all, to be fair, because the garden gets low priority here, and so grass seed just took off and we weren't weeding, so it was very easy for it to take over in the bed. But remember, you've got this perfect bed. Yes, weeds don't come from in underneath anymore because you've blocked out all the light with a big mulch layer, but you have created this environment that any seed lands on it, it is going to go take off. So yeah, and my problem was we just didn't, last year we were so busy, I was so busy on the farm, weeding the garden wasn't really a big priority. So what I'm thinking of moving the garden now, but I'll definitely keep that in mind. I'm thinking even of going to raised beds or some sort of profile, because we've got a lot of kids in the farm. We're not intensive market gardeners, so I want to create something more easeful that requires less work. So I'm thinking of doing, I don't know, this cost thing here is an issue. I don't want to use timber because it's going to rot away. I was thinking of maybe making, if I can make some cheap concrete bed, basically sides, carbon for my bed. I think that might be better. I just want to put it in and kind of forget about it, to be honest, and just go every now and again and get it weeded. So I'm going to play about with that in my head a little bit more, have a look to see what other people out there are doing and come up with an idea. So we found our level. We're about 2 and a bit foot lower than the other polytunnel, and just a matter of leveling this back using the little staff here to keep it level. And Tommy's going to do this in a couple of stretches from what he can get from the machine, and then move down, do all this, and move down, do all this. And it's pretty boring just moving some earth, but take a few hours. This machine maybe is a little bit undersized for doing this job. It'll do the job, it just takes a bit longer because you're moving smaller buckets. I just had a tour and Tommy's pretty much leveled all this out, so I got to help him now because we want to go along here and clean up right up to the polytunnel, and I just got to go along with the shovel and help guide him in and get that edge nice and clean. There's also a water line through there, so he needs help to watch that, but he's done a great job leveling this out. There's a nice bit of material leveled out there now, and yeah, nothing to it now but to get this cleaned up. Once we get this all leveled off and nice, we have to come along and put in our ESB line, so we'll get it leveled off first. And that's why Tommy's driving the digger, not me, because I would have went straight into the polytunnel. This isn't pretty impressive, guys, you can't really see it, but we're on quite a sloping steep hill here, and the sun is pulling this like at least 3 ton piece of kit up this pretty steep hill. We were just saying here, if you had a tractor on this, that tractor would be doing a bit of work to get up here, and particularly doing a bit of work not to damage the sod. I reckon we're at least maybe 6% slope here, maybe a little bit more, and this wench is doing it easy breezy. So we're really happy with how it's working. You know, we've come from down there, just pulled it up here, no problem. Maybe if you're lucky you can actually see a bit of the draw on it. quite a steep hill coming up here. We were off doing an Eggmobile move there. Before I left, I had helped Tommy to just clear up the Polytunnel, just give him a little hand. Now that's looking awesome. And we're just going to clean this up and put gravel on it, because my small Polytunnel is going to come right up to here. So we'll just gravel this out, bit of fabric on it, and also along here we want to gravel it up square. And this is looking awesome. How much diesel have you got? We're digging a trench right through our Polytunnel. We've got to get power to the farm shed, which is on the other side, and the pole is right there. Well, not right there, that direction, and we're going straight. So we've got to dig down 2 foot in here. So we're going through our tomatoes here, but we just lifted them to one side. Got to go down 2 foot, put in our pipe, and backfill it a foot, put in some danger tape, and I gotta go check because it's Saturday evening. It's a beautiful evening, so we're gonna have some pizza at the farm, and I've just turned on the pizza oven, but it takes about half an hour to heat up. And yeah, we're looking good. So okay, time to go get the dough and start making pizza. Maybe get a can of cider because I am hot working in the tunnel. Just turn down the flame a little. That looks good. I'll give you an update on how we're going here. Starting to look pretty good. We've got it pretty much all leveled out. Tommy's gone off to get some dinner, so we're going to put fabric in here and along here and gravel it up square to where our Polytunnel is going to come to, and the same along here. We're going to grade this with gravel because it's very deceiving, but you can see how much we dug down on that side and how much we had to build it up just to get level here. So we'll grade that with some gravel. We're just going to finish this off, slope this off, and then the stone is going to go off in here to make a little car park, and the 804, the gravel, will go on top to give it a nice finish. Then we also have to go and put in our French ditches, which consist of digging a trench, and our trenches are going to slope that way because there's a drainage at the back that takes the water away, because all the runoff from the polytunnels need to be dealt with. So for a French ditch we got to use like 3-inch stone. Wash stone is best, 2 to 3, this kind of stuff here. Sorry for my shadow, guys. See if I can spin out of the way. So this kind of stuff here, so we want this stone because it's easy for the water to get down through it, and we need to stop the clay getting in, so we actually wrap the ditch with this drainage fabric because the water can penetrate through this easy, but it keeps all the silt out from blocking up the pipes. And we use some drainage pipe, which is like this stuff here. So what we do is we dig a trench. I'll show you as if we do it tomorrow if we have time. We wrap, we line the trench with this stuff here, put in this pipe. Generally you put in a little bit of stone, even fine stone along the bottom, put in this pipe, and then cover it with these stones over here, and then you can actually cover over the top of the drain again with this stuff, and you've made a massive French ditch that should stay unblocked from silt for quite a while, hopefully. We're just poking out these guys, and Lorena's has just noted how this is an earthworm and not a compost worm, and he's right, because we've gone down past the composting layer and we're now in the clay layer. So these guys are all busy working here. It's good to see them when we dig them up. They normally disappear now out of the light. If we rummage through here, maybe we'll see some more. Okay, busy day on the farm. First off, we've got our power line in. You can see it's going to get fitted to the farm shed just out here. You can see we've got our line coming up. I still got to tidy it up here, get it fixed nice and tight to the wall, but that's where our power unit will get fixed, and then the power for the farm will get hooked on there and it goes under our tunnel. Whoa, don't turn so fast for you guys, but I'm nearly falling over. Didn't actually take us that long. I think it took us about maybe 2.5 hours, but it actually now goes under the polytunnel, 2 foot under the polytunnel, goes through here, goes out there, and then we're going to have to come along with the machine now and bury it. We got to come out here now, so our line's got the danger tape on top of it. Now we got to bury it down here, run it down and head for the pole on the other side of the machine there. Tommy's been absolutely nailing it here. He's got this all leveled out. So this is a little like car park slash turning area when we have tours. Oh, nearly fell over. When we have tours, I want somewhere where the bus can back in handy. At the minute they have to reverse in from the road around here, which isn't ideal. So I just put down some fabric, put down some rough heavy stone. Jesse, leave the digger alone. And then we'll blind it with some gravel to make it nice. Jesse's a bit excited about all the digging. You like to be a digger, don't you? We've definitely changed the landscape of the farm here. I think it'll look nice. You come in, we'll have our tunnels, our growing area. But for me, the main thing was that I kept everything in on the left-hand side of the road. And this little circle is my influence on the farm. And Jesse, everything else is just nature's work. We're just up here on farm 2 getting ready for the morning move, and this is our second spin around this farm now, and I'm really happy with the progress here. You can see we've quite a bit of grass coming up now. There's still soft rush being triggered to come up, you can see here, but I mean, we're in some places in the farm we're like coming up on 60-70% grass, 30% rush. You can see here these guys, and you can see out here we've still got some old rushes standing. I mean, you can look back in videos from about, well, this time last year when I first took over this farm and see the condition of it, and I'm really surprised at how fast we're turning this around. There's actually some good forage here for the animals now. They're ready to move now. The last time I grazed this, when I would come up in the evening to check on them, they were like starting to get hungry, and I would kind of be like, you've got to wait till the morning, guys. But now they're more than content with a day in this fodder, which is absolutely great. It's amazing what management and animals can do. Well, this is where we've just been. I'm just inspecting some cow patch, and I like to see a nice bit of height on them, not too watery, not too stiff. And these guys look good, and we can see we've got loads of little flies working on them. So I'd like to be able to take my chickens up here, but it's not a case. But I can take my turkeys up here, and you can see how much material, particularly rushes, and we're trying to put down a bed of carbon. Not just rushes though, you can see here we're leaving quite a bit of grass behind too, and that there's what is helping to signal the rushes not to, the soft rushes not to regrow, by putting down a nice mat of carbon. Happy days. And we're just trying to continue on our ESB line. We've dropped it down here. Tommy's just clearing. We gotta go down here, and then we're gonna slightly turn around and head for the pole. And I gotta get the shovel and get this further down here so that it needs to be deeper down coming out here. So I've got to dig this out and get that started, and hopefully by that time Tommy will be down across the road. We'll lay in the pipe and off we go. Pipe in, and now we're just cutting through the road, and I'll have to backfill the road with mainly 804, because as it compacts down again we'll end up getting a divot in it, so we'll just we'll pack it back with 804 to try and get it as tight as possible. Nearly there. We just got to deepen this now, take out the clay, and then make it over to the pole over there. just filling back in the road here first, get this all tidied up before we dirty the bucket with clay, and then we'll finish off the rest of it. Good girl, yes. Give me the stick, give me the stick, give me the stick. Drop it, drop it. No, you don't want to let go, do you? Drop it, get it. Okay, Jesse, you ready? Go for the stick. And doggy loves the stick. Hey, good girl. Now we got all the way into the, we got to do the last bit with the spade, get under the deer fence and right into the pole. So now once Tommy gets this cleared off, we run in the last bit of pipe and start a backfill it. This is going to be electricity for the farm. Now our cable is buried, can't see it anywhere. And I just got to wait for the electrical contractors to come now and set it up. I'm waiting for them to make an appointment to come set up the connection. They've built the box that goes on at the farm end, and they'll come and they'll connect. They'll put the box on, run a wire through and connect onto the pole. I'll probably come spread a little bit of grass seed on here. So, okay, this is how we put in a French ditch. We set up the string line along here, which has actually got our slope. We've got, I think it's 12 inches of a slope on this, and then we just measure down from the string line to the bottom of the trench with the digger, and we come along, we put in our fabric. Now we've got to put in our drainage pipe and stone it all around, and the idea of the fabric is to stop the pipe silting up. And we're going to run one down here that's going to take the water off this tunnel and this tunnel here. We put one up the middle here and one down the far end. A little bit noisy, but we're getting there. So we've got in our one French ditch, our small polytunnel goes in here, and this takes the water from the other side, and our big tunnel goes in here, and we've got ditches on both sides. So we've been really lucky with the weather. This weekend's been super nice weather, because this is all clay, and when it gets wet it is just sticky, muddy mess. So we're really lucky with the weather. So Tommy's just gathering up the last of that stone. I actually put that stone there 2.5 years ago with the plan that I was going to do this. So that's how long these things take. And he's going to finish stoning this, and then he'll go in and he'll clean everything out, and go in there and clean everything out. And he's going to clean up this here and make entrances. So we're going to have gravel going in here, gravel going into that polytunnel, and then clean this. And then we'll put wood chip then to tidy everything up. We'll come back and put wood chip up here to make it all look nice. And then he's just got to take this gravel and fill off our little car parking area. It's a busy 2 days, but the main project here was actually the power line, getting the power line in. That's a big thing for the farm, because I've been taking power from my sisters and I had a limited capacity. If I went over too much power I would trip the line. So having our own connection now means there's endless possibilities. Big problem though, electricity getting very expensive. Maybe I shouldn't have put in a power line, and it would make me more resourceful, but however, we have to move forward. Okay, these two guys are heading to the butcher's today. It's technically one guy and one girl. These are the two biggest pigs we have, and we just walked them over. I separated them from the other two very easily. I just lifted the fence up. They've been hungry, they haven't been fed today, and I managed to convince these two to come out and keep the other ones in. And then I walked these over with the bucket, just the bucket of feed up here. They followed me the whole way over, and it was quite a distance. Must be like 300-400 yards from all the way over there. And they just followed me because they're hungry, straight in here. I know one thing, when you're penning up pigs, you need strong pens. They can, sheep gates wouldn't even be strong enough for some of these pigs. I've had them bend sheep gates, the bars in them. So now one of the hardest parts now is actually to get them on the trailer. So we're going to back the trailer in here, and we'll get it set up nice, and we'll put the feed on the trailer, and we'll give them all the time they need to actually go up on the trailer. I find the biggest problem with the trailer is the loading door. They can see through it, so we'll put down some wooden panels so they'll load up nice. Now that was very low stress. I just backed the trailer in here, and the key here is, see this see-through door? Pigs will not go up that in a month of Sundays. So I just got some ply, and this door was obviously down, put some ply over it, boom, straight up. I learned that trick. I spent, I think, maybe 2 hours trying to get a pig on this trailer once, and I couldn't understand it because of my dad's big cattle trailer. They would run on, but the door is solid and it's much lower. And then I said, okay, well, I originally took off the door, then tried to get them to walk up. They weren't that keen on going up the big step. Put some ply on the door, boom, straight in. And so these guys were pretty hungry, so we just went up here with the feed bucket. They came straight up, and now we take them to the butchers. They won't get slaughtered until tomorrow, so I take them to a really nice family butchers. They let me bring them up the day before, so they have a bit of time to settle down in the pen and get accustomed to it. So like, these pigs don't seem very stressed to me. And now it's a strange environment for them, but it's low stress. They're not whining or squealing. They're wondering where their couple of mates are. I think maybe they're getting feeding there and these guys aren't, which they'd be right enough there. We've got this little, it's more of a turning area for buses really. The bus can drive up here, back around here and go again. And we can park cars here. That'll be nice and handy. It was kind of a dead space, I wasn't sure what to do with it, so that's the use we made of it. And then our big polytunnel is going to go up here. We'll just wood chip all of this here. We can either let it go in grass or wood chip. I think I'll put it in wood chip, because if I let it go in grass, it'll slowly keep coming, climbing over the road, and I'll have to maintain it. At least with wood chip, if I put down some of this fabric and put wood chip on it, I'll just have to worry about weed seeds blowing in. That's me thinking anyway. I might change my mind on that, who knows. So this will be our entrance up to our polytunnel, and then this will be our entrance to our smaller polytunnel. Happy days. We just squared up this here as well. So here we're using the winch to go backwards. So we just hook it onto the back like this, run out, and we just manually steer the front of it. So I can, as we're moving, I can steer the front here. So I just grab it, and as the wheels move, I just put a little bit of pressure and it slowly turns. Both forward and backward. Handy machine. Just got another batch of broilers in the brooder, and these are actually going to be my last batch. The price of organic grain has just gone skyrocketed. Chickens are just the price I would have to charge for my chicken. I won't get that in this part of Ireland for the amount of work that has to go into it. I'm just taking a step back from it. Finances, when I run the numbers in this context, it's just not working anymore. I mean, I could try and eke out some niche customers, you know, some restaurants or something that would really value high value chicken, but I'm trying to slow down farming right now. You know, I've spent the last 3 years building this farm up, and I chose not to do that. I'm happier. I don't need the money, so I'm happier to slow down this enterprise than to have to go and do a bit more work, find new customer base and really pushing that. I'm totally happy doing that. I suppose the farm has paid me back all the money I invested in it, and the money, basically all the money it owed me, and so it owes me nothing now. So I would rather, I've had a big look at my holistic context again this year, and I'm cutting back. I've been doing too much, and it's, you know, when I revised my holistic context and I refined it even better, and I found that there were still things in my context that I thought I really truly wanted, but in fact when I boiled it down, it was more things that society had put into me that I thought I wanted. And so I'm thinking of slowing down the farm a bit more. Been pushing really hard, ridiculously hard, and I can do that now because I've recouped all my investment. I've got paid for my time, and you know, I don't need that much money to live. The part of Ireland I live in is very low cost of living. Well, it's getting higher, but it's not ridiculous. Like 20,000-30,000 euros a year is more than enough salary for me, and I could make that from any one enterprise. But I'd still like to be a little bit diverse and do a little bit of everything. But there's definitely more things are going to become homestead on the farm and less economical. It's just, I don't need to do it. You know, I was pushing hard to make this money, and when I revised my context, you know, that isn't going to bring me more happiness. So I'm focusing on the things that do bring me happiness, and I mean, that's been brought on maybe by the price of grain increasing has really brought that to the fore. Some enterprises were really economical, and with the price of grain changing, means they're not so much. So rather than keeping at them or having to put in more work to find a more niche customer base, or to, you know, my problem is I don't want to keep increasing my price on my customers. I just won't do it. I'll offer it as cheap as, not as cheap, but as best price I possibly can. And if it's going to a price that's just out of the market, I'll stop producing. That's the common sense thing to do. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to focusing on the goats and working on that. And yeah, I've got so much going on at the farm. I'm doing way too much. I'm a crazy fool, and I have to still sitting down, but I definitely know I'm going to slow the farm down a bit next year. This year's already in motion. The wheel, you know, all the wheels are turning. There's not very much I can do. I am slowing the broilers down, but it's basically set in motion. We're halfway through the summer already, but I'm thinking a lot on next year already. I want a lot more free time. Not, I suppose I'll still spend it farming. I'll just be doing more fun stuff, as opposed to some of the commercial enterprises can be a bit draining. You know, you're constantly pushing at them and trying to keep everything ticking over. And I want to maybe take that pressure away for a year at least. You know, I've been pushing hard at this gig for the last 3 years, and I came out of pushing in another business before that, and another business before that, and I need to start taking it a bit easier, I think. That's just some of the thoughts I've had on this. You know what I do, I'm doing a lot in the farm and it looks great, but it's a lot of work physically on me, and yeah, I need to maybe reprioritize that. I'm very lucky I'm in the position I can do that now. Like, I haven't started the farm on any finance. I invested my own money and I've actually recouped that and all the time I've put in. So the farm is basically an asset for me now. All the infrastructure in the farm is all an asset to me. So it's nice to have that sitting there, and I can always use it any way I want. I'm really proud of that. But yeah, I need to do more soul searching and really get to the bottom of what it is I want to get out of life. Just up here on farm 2, and the Fleur are doing an absolutely awesome job at helping to build topsoil. Like, look at this. They're just putting down a really good mat. I can't even get down to the soil here. There we are there, and in fact that's some of the last year's. And there we can start to see some of last year's decaying material. And that's the trick to stopping the rush has been triggered. If we can get a biomass mat down, the soil won't feel bare, and it will not be triggered to send up the pioneering plants, in this case our soft rush. And so if you look back at videos, most of the farm looked like this here, like heavy rushes. And now, you know, one season of managing it holistically, you can still see here we've got a lot of rush coming through, but I mean, we're down to about 50-50. We've got some decent grasses coming through here. You can see patches like this. I've actually got some forage here that I can feed these animals on. Last year I was sacrificing the animals' condition by bringing them up here, but this summer we can see there's some good forage here. These guys are going to put on a bit of condition here. And my problems last year was I had to take them off this farm. I couldn't keep them on here for too long, as they would start to lose condition. But this year we can stay on here. We're good. This is good grass. There's some good forage here, and these guys are doing awesome. I'm convinced I'm going to cut hay here next year. We'll see how we get on later in the summer, but it's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. See how these guys are doing. The goats are all hanging out in the shelter, not so fond of the rain. There's the baby calf. Okay, pop over here. The sheep never really bother. The rain doesn't bother them. And cows are all starting to slick off nice now, and they're starting to put on some decent condition. Particularly the little heifer here. She is just, look at her. Look at how square she is. Let's zoom in on that little. I mean, she's putting on condition. Take a look, just look around her tail. She's starting to put on some fat wrinkles on there. She's in decent shape, that animal. And if we look at this guy over here, he's not doing too shabby either. Let me pull you back out a little bit. I mean, I'm looking at the fat around his tail. You know, he's starting to put on condition there too. And the mama cow, she's slicked off real nice now. And she's pushed herself on. I think this cow is bred. She was running with the bull before I got her, and I don't see the bullock showing much interest in her. But we'll find out. The little heifer here, she was a bull in there yesterday. But my plan is to eat her next year, so she'll probably just let cycle on. And the lambs are really going. What's really interesting to me is how fast the lambs progress compared to the goats, the kid goats. Like if we look at this, you know, you look back a few videos a month ago, these were just baby lambs. And if we take a look at this ram lamb here, he is pushing on. And now we're going to eat all these in the autumn. If we just compare them to the baby kids, like look at the size of that lamb, this year's lamb. Hey pet, hello Lola. Hey. These guys are very friendly. They were well handled, these two younger ones. And she's probably going to bite my hand if I don't watch it. We just look at the kids. The kids aren't that much younger than the lambs. The lambs just progress on much faster. Now, little calves just loving life in there. And this is interesting here, like these two are twins, and you know they're over a year old now, and yet they still seek each other out. So it tells you a lot about animals. These guys have good forage here. If I zoom out a little and we show us, like they've moved in here this morning. It's now about 8 o'clock in the evening, so they'll be here till about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So they have 12 more hours on this. And I'm keeping them quite tight, quite tighter than I probably should for the time of year. We should be on a bigger paddock, but I do want to hit this hard, and I do want to force the goats to clean up. You can see here where the goats have been taking off some of the rushes as well, because I want to take away some of these rushes. I really want to avoid coming in here with a tractor to top the rushes. So I'm going to do everything within my power to avoid that. It might have to happen, we'll see, but I really want to be able to say that with animals and management, we're able to turn this around. I do let them come in here. This probably wouldn't be the best idea. Maybe I should have fenced off this drain. This drain needs to be cleaned out. So that's maybe one of the jobs we'll do. I don't know if we'll do it this year. Maybe next spring we'll come in here and do a little bit of work on this farm. If we've got the pasture in a good place, we might come in and clean out these drains a bit. Just so in the winter time water can move more freely out of the field, and that would mean then in springtime it would dry up quicker and we could get good grass growing quicker. I'm just up here to put the kids in so we can milk them in the morning. And yeah, this little milking stanchion is a dream for me. And actually, I haven't talked about this, but this mobile shelter's absolutely beaut as well. It's really light, it's very easy. I can pull it up the main road up here, no problem too. And it gives the kids great shelter. Kids gives everybody shelter when they want it. Okay, check this apparatus out. It's going to be quite difficult for you to see, but we've actually put, this is like fruit tree netting, and it runs all over the broilers here. Like I've said in previous videos, we've been having problems with crows, magpies just lurking around, pigeons, because they want to get access to the broilers' feed. So we've put up these are 4 temporary tripods in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got the net now nice and tight, and then every brace is tightened off, so we can actually walk around in there and underneath the net pretty easy. We can move the house in underneath the net, so we only got to move the top net and the electric netting every 3 days. It is a bit of a job. You got to roll the netting up, move the electric netting, move the house, then roll the netting back over the top, put up the frames and tighten it all up. But this is going to be an awesome job for keeping the crows at bay, and because they can't get access to the feed, they're just not going to stop here anymore. When I don't have broilers at the farm, I rarely ever see a crow at the farm. The minute we start free ranging broilers like this, they're coming from all angles. So I think this is a good solution. It's a little bit of time consumption and moving them around, but I think that's worth it to avoid having these loitering birds around. So this is the first day we've tried it. We'll see how it performs in wind, if it's practical. If it fails, we'll fill you in. I'm hoping this will work, but there's only one thing, time will tell.